Director of Evaluation at the Social Innovation Office. But before talking about the office, I wanted to give you a background of what innovation means to the Manitoba government. So in 2018, the provincial government released a strategy for action to transform the public service. And the idea was that after consultations, that we needed to be more outcomes focused, and that we needed to cultivate innovation across all government departments, changing how we see the world and how we deliver services to Manitobans. So part of that strategy talked about transforming our work and also transforming our culture. In terms of transforming the work that we do, the direction was to engage with Manitobans, to connect with them, to see what their needs were and how to support their quality of life. Then to be more transparent and provide reporting, external reporting to Manitobans. And to do that, then we created the balanced scorecards, and that is part of, there is a website available to the public. In terms of the internal processes, then the idea was that we needed to transform our culture. And that meant that we wanted to enhance the skill development across the public sector, then foster innovation and focus on the client. This innovation focus was ratified in the Public Service Act that was just passed earlier this year, about a month ago or so, where collaboration and innovation were explicitly stated in the Act, with the direction to be flexible and creative in how we deliver services to the public, engage with the stakeholders in strategic decision making, and experimenting. That's what innovation is about. So innovation is the focus of our office. It's called Social Innovation Office. We believe that big problems require big solutions. And our office tries to bring stakeholders from all sectors, so nonprofit, government departments, investors, foundations, private sector enterprises to solve issues that government alone cannot solve. The office was established in 2020 to support high priority mandate items. And the idea was to foster social innovation, but also to use social impact bonds in order to address some of those urgent social issues. So our work is rooted in an outcome-based policy approach. And as Rotary has been working extensively in impact projects or outcome-based projects, then we are all familiar with this. In government, sometimes, and I've been across Canada, sometimes we are just focusing on how the money is used and how many services are delivered or how many clients are using the service, not necessarily on the change that this funding or these projects or programs are generating. So outcomes finance is just that. We attract investment, we make payments based on whether or not the program achieves the outcomes. And then we use funding, both government funding and private investment to use some solutions that haven't been used before. So our expertise is in social finance tools, designing or redesigning services that government is delivering, bringing people together, bringing stakeholders from different sectors together. We do innovation labs. We also provide training internal to government departments on innovation. The team at the Social Innovation Office is diverse, like from data scientists and policy analysts, evaluation specialists, management, financial analysts, and administrative professionals and communications. We are all using our skills to have the office work efficiently and effectively with all the stakeholders we need to work with. One of the financial tools we use are the social impact bonds. And in this case, so what we do is we get a request either from government or from an NGO. We assess the relevancy of the request. We, if the potential for a bond exists, then we bring investors from the private sector or philanthropic sector, and then do all the process. So we are kind of like an intermediary. We hire an external evaluator to assess the bond, and then the investor is paid based on the outcomes that are achieved. Aside from the social impact bonds, we're looking these days at like a fund of funds is an idea that has been floating around. So trying to put together funding from government and private companies, and then fund multiple sectors or multiple projects in different sectors through that process that we are exploring these days. If you look at the global use of impact bonds, there is a high use of this tool in the UK, in India, in the US as well, and in many of the social areas. These impact bonds are also aligned with the UN Sustainable Development Goals, and our club or all Rotary work, it's also aligned with those outcomes. So this is kind of a visual of our process. Yeah, we identify the service provider, the target population. We go like from a big idea to let's use data, let's do some literature review, let's have operational data and define kind of the specific target, the specific outcome, whether or not that outcome is payable or if it'll be attractive to investors or not. Then we either have investors that are ready or we hire external firms to attract investors to the project. And then we engage all of them. So the government department that is supposed to repay the investor, the investors, and the NGO who is delivering or planning to deliver the service to finalize the agreements, the project. Then we hired an evaluation firm to do the evaluation to repay or not the investor, and a project board is created. That's the process. Here I have 3 examples of the bonds we have worked on. One is the Restoring the Sacred Bond. The idea was to reduce the number of First Nations infants that were taken by the child welfare system. It supported 200 expectant mothers. We had a report from them a month or 2 ago at a big event we organized with all sectors. And these mothers were provided education on pregnancy, on childcare, on motherhood. And it was the first of its kind bond. Both the quantitative and the qualitative results show it had an impact, and the investor was repaid. The second one is reducing the youth justice involvement. So we have many youth from 12 to 18 years of age that are have been engaged with the justice system in one way or another. And the idea, this is just starting, is to have a 3-year program, both in Winnipeg and Thompson, providing more a holistic approach with an Indigenous focused lens that provides like kind of a First Nations lens to all the activities that are offered to the kids, including employment and skills, education, literacy, training, and also mental health support. And the third one is a partnership or a bond where Shoppers Drug Mart is the investor, and the expected outcome is reduce smoking. So Shoppers invests, and the pharmacies both like they are private pharmacists, provide supports through education and through counseling sessions and tools like gum or any other patches that any kind of person who wants to get registered can use. And that was delayed because of COVID. It started about 3 or 4 months ago, like in February this year. So those are some of the examples of the projects that are already in place. There are at least 6 or 7 others that we are just in the process of defining and working on bringing together investors and getting approvals from departments to be launched either towards the end of this year or early next year. In addition to doing social impact bonds or social financing, then we also create solution labs. So if departments have issues and they don't know how to address them, then our team facilitates sessions with their staff and also with their stakeholders, either other departments or external stakeholders, to look at value stream mapping or process flows, or using human-centered design tools, things like the 5 whys or the client experience, depending on the question that we are trying to address. We also work on creating programs and evaluating programs. And I think I mentioned a while ago that I had worked with the Oregon Indigenous Vaccine Clinics. So our team did all the engagement with the Indigenous stakeholders to put together a culturally appropriate way of delivering COVID vaccine to First Nations, Métis, and Inuit individuals. We also did the evaluation of that initiative. And then we maintain relationships with investors and with the philanthropic sector, any nonprofit sector, and others. We had an investor engagement in April, co-hosted by us and the Business Council of Manitoba. And the idea is to bring more of these stakeholders in both philanthropic, nonprofit, and private sector to work with us as SIO, but as broadly as the government of Manitoba to find solutions and to address issues. Yeah, so we just believe that successful financial investing or outcome investing require government to lead, and more work is needed. And capital, we believe that capital is there, and that we can partner with the different sectors. That's all I have to share. Any questions?